Alrighty. Alright. We are live over on Twitch. Let me just double check and make sure that that is true. Let me also, there's still so many things I forgot to do. Hold on. Where is... There it is, Nagoya Basho. It is on. Alright, let me just... I should have done this stuff like, you know, however long ago. Well, welcome everybody to day 0 of the Basho. We are about to be set and ready to go. Still have just a couple of things I need to do. Let's see. The raffle is open. And here we are. Sorry about the extra couple minutes of delays. I just had to make sure everything is working fine. It is pretty late for these for this stream. But we were playing Dungeons and Dragons up until now. Rushed home, grandma was babysitting, and now we're here. And I will lead with I did add some additional things to make the stream a little bit better, especially for the YouTube side. So on Twitch, I added a bunch of different things. I've also added it to the YouTube. Yeah, there's the button. I've also added it to the YouTube side as well. I've added the wipes that sometimes I click the buttons for. The Oshitao Oshi, the Yorikiri, the Uwatenage, all of these things will be used to enhance the streams over on the YouTube side. And once again, welcome everybody to day 0 of the Basho. It was a very long month and a half between tournaments, let me tell you. And yes, we are live. This is not a rerun. It was a long month and a half, mainly because the past 2 weeks have been very long. The baby came early, and I'm sure you saw the updates on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, wherever you might have seen it in my Discord. But the baby has been here. He's currently getting changed and crying his eyes out. And this past week has been really rough. Oh. I do not have the camera on, but I can turn it on. If you want to see baby, I can, here, bring him over. YouTube gets to see him first. Sorry, everyone. And here he is.
You might be a little mad because it's booby time.
And it's time for him to get fed. But here he is, the little baby. And now I will go away on the YouTube side so I can show the Twitch side. Oh, I got him. Stop panicking. She has no faith in me, chat.
I'm scared.
She has absolutely zero faith in me to hold a baby.
He's a wiggly baby.
Oh. Look at him. He's already commentating Sumo. Listen to him.
He's hungry and I'm leaking, so... Oops.
Yeah, he is a hungry baby. So, that is the update from the past month. Again, very happy he's here. He's healthy. He's doing great. Thank you for the sub, Wildly Coyote. And again, welcome everybody. As per usual, we will start off this preview show by taking a look at the Banzuke and taking a look at some of the most important news that I was retweeting on my Twitter, but I can take a look at, pull up again over here. First things first, TAKERUFUJI is officially out. TAKERUFUJI is out for the Basho, but it was not announced that he will be out for the entire thing. He sustained that foot injury in his historic Yusho run 2 tournaments ago now, so that was back in March. And we are looking forward to his return, but it might not be this tournament. He may return later to get 2, 3, 4 wins just to save himself from falling back down to the 3rd division. So we might see him later in the tournament, and that is something to look forward to. We also have huge news for those of you who have been around for a little while, and you might remember this man's cute face. ENHO is finally back. ENHO confirms that he is finally coming back for all 7 matches this tournament. He is currently ranked at West Jonokuchi 13, which we can pull up over here on the Banzuke. That is all the way down, ranked only above literal brand new recruits. ENHO is finally coming back. The giant killer is finally here. He only needs 1 tournament as a salaried statused man in order to have enough tournaments to get his not Kabu, but qualify to become a sumo stable master. So that is one of the main reasons why he will be coming back, trying to climb back up. We don't know if ENHO's goal is to try to climb all the way back up to the top like he did once before, or if he will simply touch Judio and call it a career, you know? It's very difficult to say because it was a neck injury, but he says that he feels no pain nor fear, and he is ready to finally take it on. Additionally, we have news that TAKAKEISHO is also fully healthy and ready to take on the tournament. He is KADOBAN, which means he will fall if he does not get a winning record, 8-7. So all he needs is an 8-7, but the Nagoya Basho is special. It's very different. Strange things happen at the Nagoya Basho, and honestly, he could be a contender. Who knows? But, according to his practice, he showed no sign of favoring his neck. However, Tokiwayama Oyakata says that he is far from perfect health, but since he's going out there, he has to do what he can. If he can develop momentum in the first half, it may lead to a good result in the second. So, his stable master might be saying here, expect an 8-7. Let's see. We also have the dohyo being built, and I did not retweet any other news, but we do have also an announcement that TERUNOFUJI is here, and he plans on going all 15 days. We hope that TERUNOFUJI can hold on for it, and, well, that's the best we can do. Back to some of the games that we were playing. As you might know, I always get mid scores, and finally I broke my losing streak and actually have an 8-7 scoreline here. I got 55 points on the Banzuke. I did mess up a couple of gimmies, a couple of easy ones. This guy, oh my goodness, he almost got perfect Banzuke. Jeez. Not a perfect Banzuke, 36 guesses, but I'm ranking top half at 81 out of, wow, over 200 guys trying to guess the Banzuke here. That's pretty good. I think, are the red ones, like, new people? I don't remember. Let's see, Basho 5. The blue ones are new people. The red ones are people that are still within their first year. So a lot of new players, and I hope that I am also turning you guys onto guessing the Banzuke. Even though my picks are definitely ones to take advice from, but not exactly take as gospel. So let's go over what I picked in Guess the Banzuke. Of course, TERUNOFUJI, Kotozakura, Hoshoryu, TAKAKEISHO, Abi, and Onosato were all bullseyes. They were perfect guesses, but I did guess Kirishima on the wrong side, so we only get a half of a point for that. Then, of course, Daieisho, Hiradoumi, Meisei, Atami Fuji were all pretty obvious that they were going to be where they were, but again, I lose out on a couple of points here. Wakamoto Haru and Mitakeumi are on opposite sides of the Banzuke that I expected them to be on, which I still get 1 point for each of those. That's not bad, but it is a little frustrating that I did miss out on 1, 2, 3 points already, and those 3 points would have put me from 81 to, 59 at the very least. So a couple of small mistakes by me, and let me see if I can't try to see what my reasoning was. Wakamoto Haru, Mitakeumi. It was because Wakamoto Haru was coming down. I thought Mitakeumi was going to leapfrog over him, but they did favor Wakamoto Haru there. So that is something that happens. Teru will either withdraw after day 3 or go 13-2. That's what I'm saying. He does not fight Onosato on day 1 this time around, though, so he might have an easier time of it. Let's see, after that, we have Takeyasu, Gonoyama, Tobizaru, Uda, Onosho, all perfectly guessed. More great points for me, but then I mess up here. Oho, Shonan no Umi, Takanosho. Well, Takanosho I actually got spot on, but Oho and Shonan no Umi actually flipping spots here. So they did make Oho fall a little bit further than I thought he would, and they did push Shonan no Umi up further than I thought they would. Shonan no Umi being a 9 and 6. I did not have him leapfrogging over Koto Shoho, but they did. So we just straight up do not get points for either of these guys, which I don't think you can blame me for missing on this one, but that is our first big mistake of the Banzuke. We did get Takanosho at Maegashira 6, but because of the Shonan no Umi going so high up, we miss out on Koto Shoho, and this is where the cascade starts. This is where, okay, we messed up big once, the rest of the Banzuke is probably going to start falling apart, except Sado no Umi, I called that right. Kin Bozan and Ryuden, again, I just didn't get them on the right side, and you can see Kin Bozan was above Ryuden, but Ryuden with a stronger record at 10 and 5. It looks like they favored Ryuden just a slight bit more, just a touch. After that, I did have Oshoma as a bullseye, but then Tamawashi, I had him half of a rank lower at Maegashira 10, and well, now again, we have a lot of kerfluffling here. Ichi Yamamoto, I predicted him a lot higher, and Tamawashi only slightly lower, so we miss out on points there. And because Tamawashi isn't at Maegashira 10, that pushes Shodai over, so I only get a half of a point for Shodai. And then Midori Fuji, he's a half of a rank away from where I put him, but it's not on the right layer, so we miss out on a point right there too. So, me over-predicting where Ichi Yamamoto was going to fly, which, honestly, they did him a little dirty, I think. He only went up 1 rank with an 8 and 7, which I'm pretty sure at the time I did say does happen, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. Guessing this Banzuke is always a difficult thing. After that, we do get the bullseye on Nishikigi, Asanoyama. I did not know where Asanoyama was going to fall. I thought maybe Maegashira 13. They put him at Maegashira 12, so I didn't miss him that far, but that is still a miss. And that, again, kerfluffles the rest of the Banzuke over here. TAKERUFUJI is obviously in the spot where I thought Asanoyama was going to be, but he's actually across from where I thought he was going to be, so we get a half of a point there. Chura no Umi, because he was bumped down by Asanoyama, I only get a point there as well. And then Hokuto Fuji, because Asanoyama bumped down Chura no Umi, that bumps down Hokuto Fuji half of a rank down to Maegashira 13, so that makes me miss a whole point. So you can see here, like, I'm just barely missing some of these guys, but it's just enough to not even get a half of a point for it. After that, we did call correctly Wakataka Kage, Endo, Chiyoshoma, Roga, but I did not call, oh, and Bushozan. So let's put all those guys in green. But Kageyaki with his 11-4 from Judio 5, I did not expect him to go up. And then I did have, let's see, where's Toki Hayate? Is Toki Hayate not even on here? I guess Toki Hayate fell off the Banzuke. Because now, or where did I mess this up? Nishiki-Fuji, where did he come from? Oh, I see. I had Nishiki-Fuji falling off and Toki Hayate staying up, but that's not what they did. They had Nishiki-Fuji survive by the skin of his teeth and Toki Hayate fell off. So we will be missing out points right there. So honestly, you could say my biggest miss was the fact that Nishiki-Fuji stayed on. And then from there, my other biggest miss was Shonan no Umi, and then it cascaded from there, you know? Because this messed up over here, that messed up a lot of other ranks on the way down. It is what it is. But honestly, a respectable scoreline right here. Still got above top half. Got, what was it, 32 points overall? Oh, 32 correct guesses, so that's not bad at all. It was just, again, like, if you look at the points, if these were all 32 bullseyes, that puts me up into the top 10. But they weren't. I got too many misses by only 1 point, and that's really what killed me right there, which I could have gotten an extra point with Kirishima if I wasn't stupid. Wakamoto Harumi Takayumi, I thought was a coin flip. The same thing with Ryu Denkin Bolzon. And then a couple of these other guys were just cascaded mistakes that I missed a point on. So Banzuke, again, it is what it is. It's always difficult to call, and even the guy who won this time around didn't get all 42 correct guesses, and even he missed one hit on his thing there. So maybe I should start copying his homework, you know? But it was another good Banzuke guessing game, and that will bring us into the big one, the Kachi-Clash. Kachi-Clash. It's going to be difficult because TERUNOFUJI says he's healthy. TAKAKEISHO says he's healthy. I will say, though, my man is still Kotozakura, but we'll get there when we get there. The big issue right now. Oh, I did forget to mention, Chiyoshoma is absent from day one of the Basho. I don't think there was a reason given. I don't know if there was a reason given, but Chiyoshoma is going to be out from day one. That just completely slipped my mind. It is unfortunate to see that. Poetic Wine, thank you for your tier 1 subscription. But the reason why this is going to be so difficult is because there are two massive fan favorites down here in the very bottom. Wakataka Kage and Asanoyama. Truthfully, I think Wakataka Kage is the easy pick, and if you don't pick him, then you're trying to go for some weird random dark horse that might somehow outperform him, like maybe Endo. But honestly, if you do not pick Wakataka Kage in this bottom tier, it's because you're picking your favorite, or you're just trying to be cheeky, you know? There's no reason to pick not to pick Wakataka Kage. Like, again, sure, Hokuto Fuji, if he's your favorite, go ahead and pick him. Nishiki-Fuji, if he's your favorite, go ahead and pick him. But you have to pick Wakataka Kage down here. You could make an argument for Asanoyama, but you have to remember that Asanoyama has come off of an injury. He was out completely from the last tournament, so you could argue maybe he's better rested. Maybe he's going to be ready to take on these much lower ranks. But I'm not too sure. What with Wakataka Kage having better recent results? Sure, it was Judio, but you know, this 14-1 Yusho, that's nothing to scoff at. And even then, in March, he still had a fantastic week 1. So I think Wakataka Kage will have the edge in who you pick down here. Truthfully, probably not even going to entertain the idea of picking any of these other guys. Like, I'm not going to go through like, oh, TAKERUFUJI, he's always solid. Endo, he's a good veteran. You can always pick him for a winning record. I'm not going to do that. It's a waste of time. Pick Wakataka Kage. If you're serious about trying to win, you pick Wakataka Kage. Maybe Asanayama or Endo if you're feeling frisky. And you think maybe these two guys could have a freak tournament where they do better than Wakataka Kage. Because there was that one tournament, it wasn't very recent, but it was within recent memory for me at least. Maegashira 11-4 Jun Yusho, all the way back in September of 2021. Man, that seems like a long time ago, but honestly, I remember that. 10-5 from Maegashira 16. So like, but then it's followed up with 5-10, 5-10, 5-10. Like, I don't know. I don't think you can trust Endo. So that's the most I'm going to talk about down here in this bottom. You're going to pick Wakataka Kage. Does Roga finally get that 8th win? The 3rd time is the charm. Considering the stiff competition down here, he's really going to have to fight for it. Because not only is he going to be fighting Wakataka, Asanayama, Hokutofuji, Ichiyamamoto, Endo, TAKERUFUJI, he's also probably going to be fighting up a little bit Midorifuji, Shodai, Ryuden, Kinbozan, Tamawashi, Oshoma. Like, this is a strong Banzuke right now. This is a very strong Banzuke. So Roga, I think he's going to have a tough time picking. Honestly, he's going to have a tough time winning. Pretty much anyone down here is going to have a tough time winning. So actually, let's just keep working from the bottom all the way up. So the next one, we have Maegashira 6 through 10. Of course, I have to pick Takanosho. He was a disappointing pick at the last tournament, only an 8-7, but hey, a winning record is a winning record. That did push me up with a score of 44, was top 50%. It's not bad. It was my other favorite, Tobizaru, that let me down, honestly. But Takanosho, he's a solid choice from these middle ranks. Oho, he's been having a tough time of it himself as well. But from these middle ranks, it's like that yo-yo effect I used to always talk about. He would go down, then up, then down and up, then down and up. Winning record, losing record, losing record, winning record, winning record, losing record, losing record, winning record, winning record. I mean, he even has a Kinboshi. But you could argue the validity of that Kinboshi if you want to. But he is still young, 24 years old. Sure, Hoshoryu is the same age. They were rivals in high school. We know that backstory. But he is still, I say he's still getting used to the top division. He's been in the top division since 2022. It's been 2.5 years now. And he's staying solid. You know, like 7-8, 6-9 from Maegashira 3 and 4. That's not bad. Oho is not a bad pick here either, and I think being a little bit lower on the Banzuke, he might have a better time of it. Koto Shoho, you could say the same thing about Koto Shoho that you do about Oho, but I feel like he is a lot more inconsistent. Also the same age, but he is just wildly inconsistent. He's been in the top division for 2 years longer than his rival in Oho, but 10-5, 2-13. 5-10 in Judo, and then Judo Yusho 9-6, 6-9 injured, 11-4 Jun Yusho into a 2-10-3. Like, maybe it's a nagging injury, maybe it's something else affecting Koto Shoho, but like, look at this stat line: 3 straight losses to open the tournament, 3 straight losses to close the tournament, and he's still got 8 wins. The reason why I wouldn't pick Koto Shoho is because of that horrible inconsistency. After that, Sadano Umi, strong, stalwart, long-time veteran of the ring, is becoming one of those guys where he is okay and he is consistent from these lower and middle ranks. Maegashira 7, though, might be a little high. Might be high enough that you might see him get that 6-9. So, not too confident in Sadano Umi. Ryuden, always a solid pick from these middle lower ranks. You can always trust him to get a winning record from down here. I mean, he just came off of a 10-5 tournament. Then again, 6-9 from Maegashira 13 not too long ago. 3-12 from Maegashira 5. That is horrible. Last time he was around the same rank, again, it's wildly inconsistent. A 10-5 from Maegashira 10 or a 6-9 from Maegashira 6, and he sits in the middle. So, which Ryuden are we going to see? Kinbozan. He is also inconsistent, but he has an excuse, I feel like. Not sure if it might be a nagging foot injury from March or something like that, but middling score lines for the past year: 8-7. Let's just call this a 6-9, 7-8, 8-7, 9-6. Not bad scores, especially when he is still quite new to the top division of sumo. He only debuted in March of 2023, so he's been in the top division for a year and a half. And although he did come up with a splash, that 11-4 Kanto show, he hasn't done anything since. So it's hard to say if Kinbozan will be able to translate that into anything. Oshoma, another strong force that just finally broke through this Judio ceiling, sitting at the same rank in Judio for almost 2 full years, finally breaking up into the top division. And he came out hot. He came out stronger than I thought he would. And honestly, I don't know if that momentum will continue to build. He's also 27 years old, which that's not old, but it's also not young like Koto Shoho and Oho. Long term, Oshoma is going to be a mainstay in this top division. It's just a matter of, is he the best guy in this current field right now? And I think it's the same thing with Kinbozan. Like, if you're going to pick Kinbozan or Oshoma, it's really a coin flip between them. And if you did want to pick them over Oho and Koto Shoho, it's because you probably value their seniority a little bit more than Oho and Koto Shoho's inexperience and not knowing when they're finally going to take that next step. Of course, we have Tamawashi as well. Tamawashi, multiple ticking records. There's even one, if you noticed in those little boxes in the top right-hand corner, there's one that I don't have listed, and that is his total top division wins. He is currently ranked at number 18. The 18th most top division wins in sumo history for Tamawashi. When he breaks into the top 10, I'll be sure to put that up there as well. But Tamawashi, he has been pretty much the definition of mid for this past year so far, with the exception of this 2-13 scoreline from last September. 8-7, 8-7, 9-6, 7-8, 7-8. Like, sure, he probably won't get another 2-13, and he's equally likely to get a 13-2 or a 2-13. So Tamawashi, if he's hot, he's a good pick. If he's not, he's still a good pick, you know? Like, he's mid right now. And I don't... it sounds a little insulting to call Tamawashi, of all people, mid. But honestly, I think he's one of the strongest picks here. Then, of course, at Maegashira 10, we have the everlasting Shodai. Shodai. Recent results, again, he's been pretty disappointing. I would have expected much better results from these past few tournaments, but he does not have the same OZEKI strength that he used to have. So honestly, I would not pick Shodai, and it would definitely break Kongo's heart to hear it. But I have no confidence in Shodai to get a winning record, honestly. I think he'll get 7-8 or 6-9, especially with the strength of these ranks below him, because I've explained this before and I'll explain it again. These top guys, they have to fight downwards. TERUNOFUJI has to fight as low as Maegashira 5, maybe even 6, because he can't fight anyone above him. So that means Maegashira 5, 4, 3 have to fight up, and it's difficult for them. Same thing applies to the bottom. Maegashira 17, sure, they can fight a Judio guy, but normally they're not going to get all Judio guys throughout the entire tournament. Nishikifuji is going to be fighting Shodai, going to be fighting Oshoma, Tamawashi, Midorifuji most likely. And like I was just saying earlier, this is a very strong bottom rung. I think a lot of these guys are stronger than Shodai. I think Wakataka Kage, Hokuto Fuji, Asano Yama, TAKERUFUJI 50-50. I think Endo, Nishikigi, if he's healthy, I think just those 5 guys right there are stronger than Shodai is currently. And that's not even mentioning the guys around him like Ryuden, Oshoma, Kinbozan, Tamawashi, MidoriFuji. I have no confidence in Shodai right now, and that's a little sad, honestly. You won Kachi-Clash last Basho with Koto, Zakura, Onosato, Daieisho, Shonan no Umi, and Oshoma. For this month, I went Koto, Onosato, the Waka Bros, and Oshoma. Waka Bros sounds like a really strong pick, honestly. MidoriFuji, the last person in this rung that we haven't talked about yet. I like him. I think he's cool, and I think he's fun, and every time he dips down this low, he does have an impressive scoreline. Like, even going back to 2022, 9-6, 10-5, then he's up in the joy. He struggles, 7-8, 8-7, 6-9. He falls out of the joy, 10-5. And this was a fantastic tournament too, but you can see he was not fighting any of the strongest guys until the very end, and then he fell apart. So this guy excels at this position. Last tournament, I'm going to say that 5-10 from Maegashira 6 was more likely a fluke than anything else. This was not him at his strongest. He was not at full strength this tournament. I think this 5-10 was a fluke. Get it out of his head. Easily could get 10 wins here. And honestly, if I didn't have to pick Takanosho here, I would be going MidoriFuji. But Takanosho is not a bad pick. It's just not my favorite pick here, but I have to pick him because of Princess. That's her favorite sumo wrestler, as we all know. And, I mean, middling scores, 8-7, like the past 2 years, middling scores since this injury, 8-7, 7-8, 8-7, 7-8, 8-7, injured, 10-5, 5-10. Like, I don't like picking him, but I have to. Midori comes off like Uda, kills it versus lower guys, but when he hits the top, he tends to choke. I wouldn't call it choking. It's more like just meeting his match, I would say. But, yeah, I think, honestly, MidoriFuji is the best pick in this second rung. If you're not picking MidoriFuji, you're likely picking Tamawashi, Oshoma, Kinbozan, Ryuden, or maybe Oho. So, again, a lot of strong contenders in this second rung, and you could make an argument for pretty much all of them, except Shodai. I'm sorry, Congo. But that is one thing I forgot to mention earlier. Congo has told me that he will be busy this tournament, so he will not be joining us on the weekends for this tournament. So that is a little unfortunate, but I guess work is ramping up for him. He did say he will be joining us in September, so look forward to that. Let me just take a quick swig as we continue. The third rung, the middle rung here, Maegashira 1-5, the Makuchi Joy. Very difficult to make a decision here, but you know I'm picking Tobizaru. But again, this is a situation where you could make an argument for just about anybody. Onosho is usually a strong pick, but I think he might be the weakest man here. Same thing with Mitakeumi. I would put him as maybe the second weakest in this rung, only because of his like recent disasters. He's been very, very mid. And like, look at this finish at the last tournament. He was 8 wins. With 4 days left, easily could have gotten double digits, but he goes 0-4 against the top guys. Hoshoryu, Daieisho, Ryuden, he's not a top guy, but he was winning. Hirato Umi even put him down. So Mitakeumi, I would say he's probably a horrible pick here. Do not pick Mitakeumi. Onosho, I used to like him a lot more, but he just does not inspire confidence in me anymore. I don't like him as much as I used to. I avoid him. Shonan no Umi. Shonan no Umi, always that, a guy you kind of got to look out for. We don't talk about him much. And again, same situation. Had 9 wins going into the last 4 days and loses to Abi, Kotozakura, Onosato, Meisei. And those are all guys that he is very likely to be fighting again. So Shonan no Umi, I would avoid him here too. Ordinarily, he is a good sumo wrestler, but still needs to get his sea legs against the top. Now, what is interesting is that because no one at the very top is Kyujo yet, Shonan no Umi might dodge all of these guys. Because if you look at it, TERUNOFUJI can fight Kotozakura, Hoshoryu, TAKAKEISHO, Abi, Onosato, Kirishima, Daieisho, Hidado Umi, Meisei, Wakamoto Haru, Mitakeumi, Takeyasu, Gonoyama, Tobizaru, Uda, and that's 15 guys right there. So Onosho and Shonan no Umi might get lucky and might dodge the Yokozuna. They might dodge having to fight these top guys. So if you are a gambling man and you think Shonan no Umi will not fight anyone in the Sanyaku ranks, you can go ahead and pick him and it might pay off. But do you really want to take the gamble that TERUNOFUJI won't bow out due to injury? Do you really want to take the gamble that TAKAKEISHO won't bow out due to injury? Do you want to take the gamble that Takayasu won't bow out due to injury? Those are some really tall orders right now. And it's more, if you're picking Shonan no Umi, you're more picking the hope that all of these guys at the top stay healthy. Uda, of course, kind of the same thing. If he fights down, then he will be fine. And you know what? We actually can take a look at the schedule, the Torikumi for day 1 and 2. And Uda is fighting Maegashira 3 Gonoyama on day 2. He is fighting, where is Uda? He's fighting Onosho. So these first few days do bode well for Uda. And also Shonan no Umi, like I said, and Onosho. These guys are fighting down. They're fighting around. So if Uda, again, he will more likely have to fight against these top guys. And when he does, it's kind of a coin flip there. Uda, fan favorite, fun technician. You love him. I don't think he's a bad pick here, but I do think there are better picks here. Tobizaru, my man. You all know I will never not pick Tobizaru. I don't care what the records say. He's fun. He's great. He can basically coin flip any sumo wrestler on any day. If you put Tobizaru in the ring against TERUNOFUJI, he would win 50% of those matches. Quote me on it. But I mean, Tobizaru, I'm just fanboying for him. You don't have to pick Tobizaru, but a legitimate argument for him would be the same thing we were saying about Uda, Shonan no Umi, and Onosho. If he's lucky, he doesn't have to fight up. And even if he does have to fight up, it's 50-50. You know, like Tobizaru has advantageous head-to-heads against some of these guys up here. Like he has an even head-to-head with Wakamoto Haru, an even head-to-head with Abi. Let's see. He's beating out Kirishima consistently, even with Hoshoryu just a little not favored. Let's see. TAMIFUJI actually dominates him, so that's something I didn't want to see. Slightly not favored against Kotozakura. And then even if we want to go a little bit further back, if I can find it, a match against the Yokozuna at least, please. But like, okay, 3-7, like, might have a small chance at beating the Yokozuna even. But Tobizaru, I would say he's a weaker pick than Uda in this situation. What do you want, Toby? Why are you moving your bed halfway across the room, Toby? Go lay down. Then we have Gonoyama, who I think is the odd man out here. Gonoyama is cool. He's strong. He's tough. He is still getting his sea legs up here, but as you saw, or as you can see from these records, 5-10 from Maegashira 3, 6-9 from Maegashira 2, and on day 1, Maegashira 3 West, his first opponent is going to be Tobizaru, actually. So Gonoyama on day 2 is going to be fighting Uda as well. He's not going to avoid the Sanyaku ranks forever. He's not going to. He's Maegashira 3. He's going to have that kiss of death. And sure, if he does beat these Maegashira 4s and can build momentum early, that might inspire confidence in him. But honestly, I don't think he's better than Uda or Tobizaru or Shonan no Umi or Onosho. I don't think he is going to survive in these top ranks. I would not pick him. Takayasu, great pick. You'll love to see him. It's just a question of, can he stay healthy for once, please? Like, look, the past 2.5 years alone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tournaments where he was injured. So in the past 2.5 years, that's 15 tournaments, he's missed 6 of them. He's missed 2/5, or rather, he's been injured in 2/5 of the tournaments that he's fought in. And when he's there, when he's here, 11-4, 10-5, 10-5. Ignore the 7-8 in July of last year. But like, look at these recent results. It's hard to knock him. And even with this injury at the past tournament, he came back and tore it up. He nearly ran the table to get a winning record. Takayasu just needs to stay healthy. Please, someone do something to cure this man of whatever curse has been laid upon him. Takayasu, go ahead and pick him. He's a good pick. He's a solid pick. I believe in him. Mitake, I feel like he is the other odd man out here. He jettisoned up from the lower ranks with an 8-7, and even then, he had 4 straight losses in those final 4 days. I don't think he's going to get a winning record at all here. He and Gonoyama do not belong this high. And I hate saying that about Mitake, because he was one of those guys I was always rooting for to make it to OZEKI. And once he did, and once he fell out of OZEKI, it was just like, you know, that scene from Toy Story 2, I don't want to play with you anymore, and just drop him off the dohyo. Like, this man has been through a lot. It's been tough for him. And I feel bad for him, but I don't have confidence in him. I'm sorry, Mitake. I don't know any injury news about Wakamoto Haru's foot. I didn't know there would have been news about that. No way all those above will be healthy for the whole Basho. Yeah, one can hope. One can definitely hope. But moving to Wakamoto Haru, if he still does have an injury, like from the previous tournament, that is definitely going to affect him. If he isn't injured, expect another 10-5, 9-6. He's going to get a winning record here. He's just strong. He's good. He's got those fundamentals. And I don't see him dropping off for another like year or two, honestly. I think he can hang in these Sanyaku ranks if he doesn't get injured. Because taking 4 free losses like this could turn around the tournament for him. Like, we don't know who he would have fought, you know, whatever. But you could still argue he was injured coming back and just tried to salvage whatever he could so he doesn't fall too far. And getting 1 win even is impressive. But if he never got injured, probably a winning record at Sekiwake. Again, kind of like Takanosho from a couple years ago. I think it was like 2001. He's just solid at the top here, but he can never really string it together to stay up there. Wakamoto Haru, not a bad pick. Honestly, I would still favor Takayasu over him. Then we have, I'm going to do Meisei first. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. My throat is getting dry. So Meisei, I'm not too high on Meisei. He trains with Hoshoryu, which is nice. But honestly, ever since he debuted at Sekiwake, and then has never, like, he hasn't done anything since. He made his Sekiwake debut back in September of 2021, which I just said about a different guy. Feels like I watched that yesterday. He hasn't done anything since. Like, he has a couple of Keen Boshi, but against TERUNOFUJI, you know, he's just one of those guys that he's either cold or he's lukewarm. And a 10-5, even though this was last tournament a 10-5 from Maegashira 5, honestly, I'm still not that high on him. That does not inspire too much confidence because he loses to Kotozakura, he loses to Abi. and he beat everyone lower than him, sure, like he's in the exact position where Shonan no Umi and Onosho could be, where they could get a 10-5 from this rank and push up, but I don't really believe Meisei is worth picking here. And then finally, Atamifuji. I like Atamifuji a lot. 21 years old, still the youngest man in the top division, and he's already putting in a lot of work. Now, that inexperience is a little worrying, I will say that, but he's getting a lot of great experience at the top here. 6-9, 8-7, 7-8 from this Makuuchi Joy. That's fantastic. It's just a matter of when is he gonna break out. And he has a long time to break out. He's only 21 years old right now, and if you want to compare him to the other top guys on the Banzuke, Koto Zakura, Ho Shoryu, TAKAKEISHO, 26, 25, and 27, like, he has years to marinate and get better and really become a strong sumo wrestler. Is it gonna happen this tournament? Probably not. I do not think so. I would not pick him. I like him. I think he's going to get another 6-9, maybe 7-8, and he does dodge TERUNOFUJI, but he does not get away from anyone else, really. There are no other Fujis up here for him to dodge. So like when, Midori Fuji was higher on the Banzuke, that's another match that he doesn't have to do, so he gets to fight a little bit lower again. But he's not afforded that this time around. Overall, if you're going to pick anyone in here, I think the strongest picks are Wakamoto Haru and Takeyasu. Dark horse picks would be Tobizaru or Uda, and then if you're a real gambling man, Shonan no Umi and Onosho, I think. Because Onosho, I didn't really go in depth about him, but he does have the potential. Like, sure, 2 Fusensho back in January, but 10-5 from Maegashira 14 is not bad. 9-6 from Maegashira 8, but a 7-8 at the last tournament. And he's losing to the top guys. Tobizaru, Koto Zakura, Ho Shoryu, Abi. If he doesn't fight these guys, these are easily 4 wins. If he's fighting lower guys like Takanosho, like Tomokaze for whatever reason, those are probably 4 more wins for him. And instead of a 7-8, he finishes 11-4. So, Onosho and Shonan no Umi are for gambling, man. Wakamoto Haru and Takeyasu are for the refined gentleman. Now, the second rung, Sekiwake and Komusubi. This one is a little difficult, I think. Daieisho, former Sekiwake, former Yusho winner. You can always rely on him to be strong, but that pusher thruster style he does, the inconsistency means that he'll either go 6-9 or an 11-4 Jun Yusho. Is he gonna go 7-8 or is he gonna get a 12-3 playoff loss? He already has what is this? 1, 2, 3 Jun Yusho in the past 2 years, but then between that 6-9, 7-8, 7-8, string of 9-6s, a 6-9. I really do like Daieisho. I love his aggressive style, and he's fighting all the same guys basically. If he gets a 6-9 one tournament and then an 11-4 the next tournament, and he's fighting all the same guys, it's way too much variance. I can't confidently pick him. Hirado Umi, 24 years old as well. He, a real underdog here, I think. Really underrated. Just quietly moving up the Banzuke this past year. 9-6, 8-7, 9-6, 9-6. Is this where the buck stops? Honestly, I don't know. Because he does lose to Kirishima, Koto Zakura, Ho Shoryu. He did beat an injured TAKAKEISHO, so assuming TAKAKEISHO's healthy and this is a loss, 8-7 is still not bad from up here, because he beats Abi. He lost to Daieisho. He beats Atamifuji, 6-1 against Atamifuji. He beat Onosato. He beats Wakamoto Haru, Takeyasu, Tobizaru. He's a good sumo wrestler. And again, I think he's underrated because I don't really pay attention to him. Like, there really isn't anything that stands out about him And he's just the strong silent type moving up the Banzuke. Like, he could be a dark horse pick right here. And then we have the Sekiwake, who also make this really difficult. Former Ozeki Kirishima does still have a chance to get it back, but it would be really disappointing to see him go from 13-2 Yusho. Oh my gosh, is he gonna do it? He's 11-2 going into the last 2 days, and 5-10 injured Sekiwake. Like, I don't know what he might be going through. If it's a mental thing, if he got a mental boom on these last 2 days and he hasn't been able to recover against Kotonowaka and TERUNOFUJI, where that destiny was in his own hands, you know, then that's sad, that's disappointing, but it is what it is. If it is a physical thing, like if he was fighting while injured 5-10 and then 1-6, and like if he bowed out of this tournament injured, then I really hope he was able to rehab that injury well, because honestly, after, like, sure, hard recency bias right now, but you kind of have to rely on that in sumo. But 5-10 injury, I don't think he gets 10 wins. I want him to get 10 wins, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to get it. It's more of a concerned, I don't think he's going to get it. And thank you, Bachiador, for your Prime subscription. Abi. Everything that I said about Daieisho, you could also say about Abi, except he's less inclined to get double-digit score lines. You could see 8-7, 9-6, 8-7, 6-9. And when I first started watching sumo before COVID, it was back in 2019, 2020. He was that dude at Komusubi who just kept on getting winning records but wasn't good enough to move up. 5-10, 7-8. Obviously suspended. But then coming back, surprise 12-3 Yusho as recently as a year and a half ago. But from there, he only just recently posted a 10-5, and that was off the back of 2 Fusensho. Those 2 Fusensho being Sekiwake Wakamotoharu, who, sure, he does dominate, and Takayasu, who it is a coin flip against. So this 10-5, 9-6 maybe minimum, 8-7 if he's super unlucky against Wakamotoharu. But that's a good scoreline. Coming off of 2 straight 9-6 from Komusubi and Sekiwake, that's not going to be enough to push him to Ozeki. But he still is in the Ozeki watch. 19 wins. He needs 14 and a Yusho in order to get it. I don't think he's gonna. But Abi, he's just a slightly worse version of Daieisho that just happens to be ranked higher, because his lows are like, what's the good way to describe it? Abi's lows are not as low as Daieisho's, but his highs are also not as high as Daieisho's. Because like I was saying earlier about Daieisho, he goes from 12-3, 6-9, but he's more consistently high. You know what I'm saying? Daieisho more consistently lands on heads, whereas Abi, he's a lot more 50-50. Kirishima could go 13-2 or 5-10, and neither outcome would shock me. I know. Yeah, exactly. Finally, we have the big boy himself coming off of the back of his 12-3 historic Yusho win. I know a couple of people might have been confused about it, but TAKERUFUJI was the first person in 110 years to win the Yusho in his debut. ONOSATO is the fastest person to debut, or rather to Yusho, after his debut. And you can see here, it took him a year to do so. The current record for Ozeki promotion is 2 years after their initial Hatsudohyo. One of those records is held by Yu Takayama, not the one that recently retired, but Yu Takayama from a long time ago. I could actually look up a list of Ozeki right here and try to pull it up. But there was Yu Takayama and another sumo wrestler here who did it in 2 years as well. I think it was above Yutakayama. As you can see here, Yutakayama, 1961 March, 1963 March, that's when he got promoted. A little bit later in history, let's see. I know he's around here somewhere. Or was he lower on the list? Might have been a little bit lower. But it has happened twice in history. I just can't find it now. We'll just say, for all intents and purposes, Yutakayama, this Yutakayama, born in 1937, was the fastest to make it to OZEKI. And you can see 12-3 Jun Yusho, 13-2 Jun Yusho, made it to OZEKI, and got a lot more Jun Yusho, but retired after falling from the rank, didn't even fall to Sekiwake. He knew he was out. Unfortunately, never got that Yusho, but lots of Jun Yusho, lots of accolades to his name. ONOSATO could not only be the fastest to become an OZEKI after debut, but maybe could be the fastest to become Yokozuna later this year. A little bit of a stretch, and this 11-4 Jun Yusho is still kind of being debated because it was Maegashira 5, and he did not start off fighting those higher ranks, but when he did, he beat Wakamoto Haru, he beat TAKAKEISHO, lost to Kotonowaka, beat Daieisho, beat Abi, so like, that's not a bad record. And even if this 11-4 does not count for an OZEKI promotion, I have full confidence he can get another 10 plus wins here anyway. 12-3 Yusho. He beat an injured TERUNOFUJI, sure. He beat an injured KIRISHIMA, sure. There's 10 wins right there. But he only lost to Takeyasu, who we hope stays healthy. He lost to Hirado Umi, and he lost to Hoshoryu, who he has not beaten yet. All of these sample sizes are still very small. You could argue that ONOSATO is still getting used to this top division, even though he came flying in like a bat out of hell. Is he really like this much of a prodigy? 24 years old, less than 2 years in Grand Sumo, and already challenging to become an OZEKI? I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood, but he's my pick. I think it's the hype, really. He's strong, he's big, he's hype. I'm voting for him. And finally, the top rung. TERUNOFUJI, Kotozakura, Hoshoryu, and TAKAKEISHO. Now, if you are a wise man, if you are a sumo connoisseur, if you are a man who has watched more than one sumo tournament in the past year, you'd really know that this is a two-horse race between Kotozakura and Hoshoryu. Now, I'm not saying TAKAKEISHO will drop out of the tournament, but like I was saying earlier when talking about yes, we are still live, Jax. When I was saying earlier about TAKAKEISHO's injury, is that his stable master makes it sound like he's gonna try to get 8 wins then dip, which I don't blame him. Definitely don't blame him if that's the route they want to go. TAKAKEISHO is confident. TERUNOFUJI, same thing. He is also very confident, and you know, as a master of those sumo predictions I am, I said earlier this year, hold on, let me check. I do believe it was in the January tournament. Yes, it was, I think it was in the March tournament after he was out for injury. I said, watch, he's gonna stay out for May, which he was out for May, come back in July, win number 10, and retire. Will the prophecy be fulfilled? And not the Prophecy movie starring Viggo Mortensen and Christopher Walken, talking about the Sumo prophecy of Terunofuji getting his 10th Yusho in July, like I predicted several months ago. We will see, honestly. I hope it happens. I really do. I want to see Terunofuji stay in this tournament. I want to see him be challenged for sumo hegemony. But really, I think it's a two-horse race between Kotozakura and Hoshoryu. Kotozakura is my favorite guy up here. I've been hoping that he can finally string it together, and he's inching closer. Kotozakura, in his first 2 tournaments as an Ozeki, putting up good numbers. 10-5, 11-4 Jun Yusho, that's good. Hoshoryu, he has been doing really well this past year too. He is also in the running for the most wins this year too. 10-5, 10-5, 11-4, 10-5. Like, it's just a matter of both of these guys just getting over the hump. 10-5 is great. That is the Ozeki Kachi-Koshi. That's the Yokozuna Kachi-Koshi. But if they want to be a Yokozuna, they have to turn these 10-5s into 11-4s. And these 11-4s into 12-3s. They're almost there, both of them. And you could make a great case for both of them. Kotozakura, bigger body, stronger base, better on the defense. Hoshoryu, trickier grips, stronger grips, I think. More interesting footwork. Like, both of these guys have their ups and downs. Both of these guys are really good, and their head-to-head shows it. 10-8 being split, going all the way back to 2019 when he was known as Koto Kamatani. Now Kotozakura, he's on a 5-match win streak going back to July of last year. Will he make it a year straight? Will he be the one to get the leg up over Hoshoryu again? Will Terunofuji fulfill my prophecy? Honestly, I don't want to pick him just because there's just a big enough chance that he dips early from the tournament. I don't want to risk that. But again, like I was saying about Shonan no Umi, if you are a gambling man, you pick Terunofuji. Because if he stays in, if he's strong, he's healthy, 14-1. Easy. Easy. Maybe he drops a tricky match to, I don't know, Mitakeyumi. Maybe Daieisho upsets him on day 2. Who knows? Well, actually, we could know. Day 1 is a Terunofuji versus Hirado Umi. Then it's Terunofuji versus Meisei. I think he wins both of those matches handily, especially if he's at full strength. But honestly, for me, for my money, I pick Kotozakura. I pick Kotozakura over Hoshoryu. I just like Kotozakura more. Not that I dislike Hoshoryu, because that is one thing I've said many times before, is that to me, sumo is a sport where you don't really hate anybody unless they're an actual piece of shit human being like Ryuden is. So it's just a matter of like liking someone more than someone else. If you ask me, you know, who my favorite guy is, of course, Tobizaru. I don't care that he's not the best, you know? Tobizaru's my favorite. If you had me choose between, you know, these Kachi-Clashes I'm doing right now, you know? I'd picking my favorites. Wakataka Kage, Takanosho, Tobizaru, Kotozakura, Onosato. Those are just my favorite guys. I just like them more. I knew you were going to say Ryuden. Well, he's really the only good example. Favorite guy is Abi for me, but a lot of people think he's the devil. Yeah, I think it's cringe to dislike sumo wrestlers for, you know, doing whatever it takes to win, or you know, that kind of thing, or just not liking their style. Because I would say I'm more like apathetic about sumo wrestlers than I do dislike them. Like let's take Nishikigi, for example. I don't dislike him, but I don't really like him either. Chuda no Umi, I don't like him, but I don't dislike him. TAKERUFUJI I used to like a lot more, but that's been going down a little bit. But these are going to be my picks for the Kachi-Clash. I'm locking it in. Don't forget to lock in your picks. You have 24 hours, 18 minutes, and 0 seconds to do so. My picks: Koto Zakura, Onosato, Tobizaru, Takanosho, and Waka Takakage. And honestly, this is very close to the winning formula here. If it wasn't Takanosho, I would probably be picking Midori Fuji. And if it wasn't Tobizaru, I'd be picking Takayasu. But I think Onosato and Waka Takakage are the top 2 picks right there. And again, if you're a gambling man, if you really think Terunofuji's at full strength, 15-0. Easy. You pick him. They're hard to dislike. They're also respectful and act like men no matter the result. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I like them all, you know? But that will end this preview show for the YouTube side, because we are going to be getting into watching YouTube videos. And watching YouTube videos on YouTube means that YouTube does not like you. And unfortunately, they did not film the ceremony, the ring purifying ceremony for the Nagoya Basho like they usually do. So we're just going to be watching some training videos on my Twitch side. We have about an hour's worth of training videos, which is perfect for me because I'm super tired. I did not sleep much last night. I did not get my nap today. So like I said, that will be it for today on the YouTube side. We will be back tomorrow for day 1 of the Basho. Guest commentator Gideon Dickinson is going to be with us if his mother lets him. But thank you very much for watching. We will catch you guys tomorrow. And for right now on the Twitch side, I need to go to the bathroom, so I will throw up a BRB screen.